We operate over thousands of miles, and there are 32 labor unions representing the 15,000 employees who work here. Here's a 130-year-old company. We've made it through recessions. We've been involved in 2 wars. Canadian Pacific it's a serious business. It's a railroad. My name is Mark Seland. I'm Managing Director of Public Affairs and Corporate Communications at Canadian Pacific. One of my first projects here at CP, I believe it was 1999, was to plan the first holiday train. We take a 1,500-foot freight train and we put hundreds of thousands of Christmas lights on. And it starts in Montreal, we come into Calgary, and we go to Banff, and we visit hundreds of communities. We'll put on a free holiday Christmas concert from a boxcar. The stage comes open and performers come out. And the cost of admission is a contribution to the food bank. We got to a place called Cartier, Ontario. Very remote, not many people there. It was 3 in the morning. I was asleep. The engineer radioed back and said, "The town's here." Okay, so I get my boots on and wander up there. And the station had just been closed about 6 months before that. We didn't need the station anymore. So what I discovered in walking up there, the mayor came back and met me and he said, "Well, the town has turned up and they want to make a donation to the holiday train, a food donation." And it was minus 36 degrees. So somehow they'd found the last person who was the station operator who still had the key for the door, and he let everybody in. And this incredible community event spontaneously happened. And we said, "But the food is supposed to stay here. It's for your community. There's people who need food in your community." They said, "No, we've taken a vote." And they forced us to open up one of the boxcars and take the food to the next location. And the next scheduled location was Thunder Bay, several hundred miles away. Well, this kept going. It's neighbors helping neighbors, right? Right at that frontline event. We want to be a company where employees are proud to say to their children, "There's the company I work for and they're part of my community." I believe it's my obligation and anybody in this world's obligation to, it sounds overly grandiose, but to try and move the planet forward. So a piece of it is that so many people helped me and taught me and guided me, and I'm doing that in return. When I was a student, I wasn't maybe as perhaps engaged as students are today. You know, I'll speak for 2 hours and these young people are highly engaged and they're interested and they're the dialogue and they're asking questions, and frequently a number of students will approach me after and we stay connected. One student in particular, we had just bought 25 new locomotives, and she said, "Let me take a crack at writing the news release." So it was so well done that we actually paid her as a freelance writer for that, and sometime later a permanent position emerged, and so we work together now. Well, my first PR job was with Canadian Airlines. Wardair, PWA, and Canadian were merging together. So in a co-op term, I got to see the business world right up close. My second co-op term through Mount Royal was with Foothills Hospital. Shortly after that, the province entered what was then known as health reform. Again, fabulous time to see cultural evolution and integration of very disparate corporate cultures into a single unifying piece. Now that doesn't happen overnight. I ended up, of all places, with the government of Saskatchewan. Following government, I went and worked with FWJ, or Francis Williamson Johnson. And then from there, I ended up at Canadian Pacific about 15 years ago. I grew up in Western Canada. My parents allowed me to explore and to pursue curiosities and do all those wonderful things. That's where my fascination of the outdoors occurred. I could tell you every curve of the Bow River and the Old Man and the castle, and to hold a fish and to look at it and understand, wonder what that guy's been doing, where's he been, what's he looking at? To walk out there in that water and pull these beautiful trout out of the water there's nothing better. I've always been tinkering with cars, and a year or so ago I picked up a 1950 Chev Fleetline Deluxe. Well, it's like no other. Whether you're, it's pre-power steering, and the steering wheel is about this big. So I've never had it much over 50 or 55. So it's like moving a bus around the corner. A friend of mine always says, hug your surroundings. So if you're driving through the prairies and it's a beautiful blue sky and the golden wheat fields, and you can hear the motor and the hula dancers going on the dashboard and the windows are open, it's all your senses working at once. Anybody sitting out there tonight has bad days. Whatever mood you come home in and whatever's on your mind, you can pretty easily erase that just from getting in. I'm a big advocate of carpe diem. Be positive, have perseverance, be patient. If you can represent that each and every day, surely tomorrow is going to be better. That you can leave a mark on your community, on your friends, on strangers. I believe, as I said previously, that we have a responsibility as human agents to somehow make the world a better place. And that can be an inch at a time. You can skip a day every now and then, or it can be big, holy ideas, right? For me, as long as I can continue that way, then I think to a certain extent tomorrow and next week and 5 years will take care of itself. I'm not necessarily driven by career, but I certainly am driven to learn and experience and help where I can, and in the meantime, experience the world.